Press record. And then if anyone else wants to come into Zoom, you're very welcome to join me. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you're on the replay, hashtag replay. If you're on here live with me on Facebook, that's excellent. That's magnificent. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I always say this, the most precious thing we could ever have is time. It's not money, it's time. And you spending your time with me, that is everything. That's literally everything for me. And I'm gonna be talking, and then I'll occasionally go back to the comments so that I won't lose the thread of my transmissions and anything that wants to come through for you, because I do have a lot of amazing transmissions coming through for you today, and I'm really, really excited. I'm just bringing it today. So thank you so much for being here. So if you are here and you're ready to dive right in with me, let's come together in this circle and let's just take a moment and have a moment with all of us beautiful sisters. And when you close your eyes, I want you to really feel into the energy of everyone who is going to be here, who is here, who will be here, everyone. And just connecting your energy with this divine, sacred sisterhood. Whether you know her or not doesn't matter, but we are energetically connected. Taking a deep breath into your heart, bringing to mind how good it feels to be completely supported. Opening your heart chakra up in the front and the back, allowing love to blossom, allowing love to overflow. And in that overflow, what starts to bloom forward is a beautiful divine goddess in your heart, completely ready to give, completely ready to share. And in this circle, all of us sisters together, our left hand facing down, our palm facing down to receive, and our right hand's palm facing upward to give. Together, we form a mandala of power, of truth and faith. Let's breathe it all in through the palms, into the arms, all the way into our hearts, and then just push the energy out of your chest all the way out into the world. Exhaling and inhaling through the nose. And the more you exhale, the more you realize with every exhale, your love is flooding the room, the space that you're in right now. Inhaling again into the lower lobes of your lungs, into your heart space, into the center. And then when you exhale, it floods through the entire building where you're seated, the entire space, even further. If you're not in a building, you could be in your car. That's all good. It's coming through. All the way out into the streets. Inhale again. And then exhaling, this time let your love flood through the entire city. Zoom out and see your love embalming all the little buildings and the houses. Inhale with me again. Bring in all the love and the joy into your heart. And when you exhale, you're exhaling out all the way out into the entire earth. It's swarming all across the entire earth. Flooding all the countries, the little earth, the waters, the oceans, the mountains. And then one more inhale. Make it even bigger. And when you exhale, exhale out into the galaxy. Let the universe have it. Let it have it. Let it have your love. Let your lazy, lettucey, gossamer energy just float in the universe now, flooding the universe with you, your love. And so it is now. We inhale, inhaling this galactic proportion. Feel it funneling down now through the open space of your crown, the open space of the back of your body. Let it funnel in and all the way in now into that central point in your stomach, all the way in to your belly. Hold your breath and inhale one more time into the solar plexus. Hold your breath. Inhaling, feel the love expanding and abundance expanding in your solar plexus, knowing you've got this. All the way inhale into the heart. Let it be loved. Let it be held in love. And inhale one more time, bigger than the body. Feeling the cosmic egg that is holding you. And exhaling out. Let it just rain down on you. This subtle energy that you are. That is you. And then just inhale it back in into your heart. And when you exhale, exhale into your heart. Let it be known that this here is all for you. Say it to yourself, this here is all for me. It can be this graceful. It can be just this easy. It is all here for me. Whew. How did that feel? How did that feel for all of you, my loves? Let me know in the comments. Okay. Feeling more centered? Yeah. Feeling more grounded? Feeling more, okay, yeah, at peace. Electrified, maybe even in your palms and the soles of your feet. It's all normal. You're feeling the truth of who you are. And yesterday we talked about how we are meant to really allow the cosmic magnificence to come through. And this is the conversation I want to continue having with you today. We are holding space for your cosmic magnificence to come through so that you can live every day from a bigger context. And that bigger context is your soul purpose, what it really is, because we can be so easily engulfed in, surviving, and when are we going to get the next paycheck and bills to pay and work to finish and children to take care of and relationships to have so that we don't miss out on this or that and all these things. But what I truly have learned is that when we work from a bigger context, we don't actually fall so easily into the mind trap. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that today. So, yesterday, I also want to just mention that I will be answering some questions, some amazing questions that I got from yesterday's session. So, I feel like everything is really coming together for today. And if you want to type in the comments, you want to share with me how it was, if you did the homework from yesterday, I call it homework, but actually it's so amazing. It doesn't even feel like homework. It's like the whole experience of first and foremost sitting or walking with your highest self, and then becoming, and then finally being that highest self. Did any downloads come through? How did it feel in your body? If you haven't done that, no worries. You can absolutely do that later. I highly recommend that, because that moment when you actually step in as your highest self and not separate yourself from that, you're actually truly coming into that space where you hold your purpose as something so much more than a vocation. And let's be real, right? We all come into this space as a healer or a mystic or a priestess or goddess, and yet we question our destiny, we question our purpose, precisely because we haven't seen the evidence yet. We haven't seen the praises, the accolades, the clients, the money, the predictability, right? It's interesting because when I realized this myself, and I'm going to dive deep into this today, you know I spoke about how I came from working in a corporate 9 to 5 to really following the voice that spoke to me from my tea bowl, that the first tea I ever held in my hands, and giving up my corporate job and leaving all that I knew and moving to an entirely new city. And some of you asked, oh well, you probably had support from your boyfriend, who's my husband right now, and all of that. But I want to tell you, my love, I honestly did not ask him for a single cent. All of that was my savings, and I had to go through my own scarcity shit as well to get to the point where I truly, truly felt that, you know what, I'm not going to stop. I have a vision, and I live in that vision every single day. Everything I do comes from that vision. And you want to be able to hold that vision as well. If you are here to heal the world, and I see this beautiful all your beautiful comments yesterday in the first day, when I asked like, what is the soul purpose for you? What is the idea of your soul purpose? What is it for you? And so many of you have mentioned that you want to heal yourself so that you can heal the world. And I love that, because it is truly it's truly a profound purpose. But what if I could even expand that further and tell you that, to be honest, you just need to remember who you really are. And I know that we talk a lot about healing, but if we keep thinking that we need to fix ourselves, we are never going to do what we are here to do. And this is something I really want to share, because I always say this to my clients. It is so important for us to be aware that the mind is designed to fix problems. And you will hear this quite often if you're not in a sacred space such as this. When you go into maybe like a clinic or a hospital, the first thing doctor walks in and say is probably like, okay, what do we have here? What's the problem? What's the problem? Right? And sometimes even healers do this. Like, they go into a space and they think that their client is broken and they need fixing. Okay, what is it that you need to heal today? And for me, what I really learned to be so much more potent is that, what if what if my perspective is that they are absolutely whole and complete, and I'm speaking to their highest self. And so I started to delve deep into this. I started to check in and realize that actually the reason why I couldn't do it at that time was because I didn't see myself as whole and complete. I felt that I needed fixing. I felt like I was not enough all the time, and it manifested in a way where I just felt like, oh, maybe I need to take a certification. Maybe I need to certify myself so that people would give me more credit, in terms of who I am, and give me more eyeballs and whatever. But I realized that it didn't fit me at all. Like it felt wrong. Like I didn't think, oh, no, no, no. Like it just didn't feel right for me. And I'm not saying that the certification or certificates are wrong. I'm saying that it felt wrong for me. I didn't really feel like that was my path to take. And so that led me down another little rabbit hole where I started to delve deep into what it means to be someone who works in the Tao, the way in English. The Tao itself is formless, right? The Tao is found in everything. It's like what we call in English the universe, right? It's who we are. We came from the unknown. We will go back to the unknown. And so if my sole purpose, if I knew, let's put it this way, I want you to feel this. If I know that my sole purpose here is to create change, it's here to create an impact, then how can I make this vision happen, right? How can I create that change, right? So the first thing that I realized was that I have to change. I have to choose. What do I really want? At that point, and I'm going to go back to my little story, when I moved to Edinburgh, I really was in a space where I was just like a novice. I was green as a plate of salad, and I all I really wanted to do was serve. And I had a vision, but that vision was just something that was really, really tiny compared to where I am right now. At that time, all I knew was that I wanted to build a community of people who would understand and love the way of tea. They would love how tea can transform their lives. They would love how they can absolutely have a daily practice sitting in tea ceremonies every day. And when I started out, I actually started giving my service for free. Like there was no payment there, nobody paid nothing. They just come, and I started to have a lot of interest in this. I even got like magazines featuring me, and I did talks and things like that. But at that point, I was caught up in my own scarcity. I was caught up in the idea of, okay, so how can I make this something that will work for me so that I don't have to worry that, where can I get my client next, and where I can, make sure I can have a living made out of this, right? And what happened next was that it started to set the life force out of me, because everything I was doing was thinking about how to put the next meal on the table, to the point where I started to really feel like I've gone back to my corporate job for a while. It was like, okay, I've got this now, this client signed with me. What's next? Who's the next? You know? And I realized that even in that point of time, I was giving a lot. I was over giving. I would be on the phone all the time. I would be just be like being there wasn't even enough in my books. Like I just wanted to be really changing their lives. And I would get really upset with myself if I read things in their messages that felt like, oh, I had a bad day or whatever. I started to think that that was my fault, and that started to set the life force out of me again, even more life force. And so here I was, overgiving and kind of feeling really exhausted, to be honest. I would always have ceremonies, and after the ceremony, I would just feel really tired. And I started to feel like I'm shrinking. I felt my world was shrinking, and I was wondering what is going on here. And of course, one thing happened and then another. And then I realized that I can't keep going like this. I can't keep going like this. And what I got as a huge message was that I am someone who embodies the practice of the Tao. And it's all about the vortex of stillness. It's about creating miracles every day from that vortex of stillness. It's about taking actions in alignment with the truth of who we are, which is limitlessness, which is freedom, which is abundance. So, why am I living in this way? And so, I really needed to reassess everything. And what came to me really is truly this, my loves, and I want to share this with you. We are constantly manifesting. We are always creating something in our lives. Whether we like it or not, we are doing it. The question here is not how can I manifest the life I want? Because you do it every day. You're actually doing it. But where are you coming from? Are you coming from scarcity? Are you coming from fear? And the second thing I realized was it's not about manifesting, it's about staying the course. How are we staying in the bigger context of our soul purpose instead of falling back into the matrix again? Because it's really easy for us to fall back into the matrix, especially when you have to figure out how to put the next meal on the table. And I get that. I absolutely understand that. I know many women who have stopped dreaming because they think that that is totally child's play. They don't deserve to dream because what about the next meal? What about paying the bills, right? That's when I realized that when I want to work with women who know that I am speaking to something in them that is buried so deep, but you know there is a part in you who wants to awaken, who wants to really, really play big. And this is the truth. I didn't go from there to here all at once. For me, manifesting the life I desire is about staying the course. And that's what I love about the way, the Tao. That's what I love about the way of tea, because it has helped me to stay the course, to stay in the bigger context of my soul purpose. You know, sitting with my clients, even like we do so much more than the ceremonies, but I always say the underpinning thing that we do all the time is we always come into ceremonies and then we do the work of healing, you know, through the body embodiment and going into those places where we want to um, hold gratitude, and also how can we evolve, how can we allow in more of the cosmic magnificence, right? And we're going to dive into that in a bit. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that we want always, we will never stop wanting something. But when the want starts to become something that comes from scarcity, like, oh my God, universe, please give it to me now because, oh my gosh, like, I really need to pay the bills. Or like, universe, please give me that inner peace. Like, why am I not feeling it? Like, where are the relationships you promised me? Like, can you feel the energy of that? As opposed to, oh my God, it is so amazing to envision having 20 women in my next container. My vision is so unstoppable. After that 20 women, and I'm so grateful because I can already feel them, those 20 women are going to go on to work with me in the next mastermind, and they're going to experience the ceremonies, and they will realize that life can be lived in ceremony every day. And I want them to know this because that inner peace can be transformed into things in their lives. It can be transformed into a divine relationship. It can be transformed into money. It can be transformed into a new house. It can be transformed into anything they desire, even a book deal. Who knows? Oh my God, it's so amazing. Yes, thank you. Thank you. That is what keeps the vision unstoppable. That is what keeps the magic alive. When we lose the magic, that's when we have to really ask, are we playing small, staying comfortably ensconced in the same old that we know and understand, and kind of feel like, oh, it doesn't light my fire, but I'm comfortable here. It's like going to a corporate job. You are comfortable knowing your salary will be debited into your bank account anyway, but you hate it. You hate the job, right? And if you do, there is a choice: blue pill or red pill. Do you truly believe that you're meant to do a job that you don't like? As with most of the people on this earth, I hear it all the time. It's like, you're not meant to love your job. You're not meant to love something you do as a job. It's just for money. Or are you taking the pill that tells you, I fucking love what I do and it doesn't even feel like a job. And I have so much to give. My vision is unstoppable. And money flows to me easily because I'm doing what I love. And money loves to go where it's loved. Which one is it for you, right? And really, when I speak about unstoppable vision in this space, I'm not talking about something that is coming from hustling. It is about allowing more of your cosmic magnificence to come in. And that cosmic magnificence is limitless. When you tap into the source energy, this is how I operate, right? Like when I work with someone and she's coming in and we are doing all the beautiful healing work that we do, I'm not working from my self. I'm opening up this vessel to allow the source energy in. And that is when I tap into even bigger and more potent visions and power, because now I'm not working alone. And so when I talk about your unstoppable vision, how to make it limitless is that you really allow yourself to start to dream, right? Because it comes through your dreams. It comes through your desires. Allow yourself to want. We want to learn how to walk side by side with our desires and also what we are building, what we have come and seen. Because sometimes we fall into that trap of thinking, oh my God, like I thought I'm done. Why am I wanting this again? I actually, I had that experience myself, and it was a work with my client, my private client. And I remember her saying to me, like, I have this full-time job, but it just feels like it's never ending. And I'm so exhausted, but it almost feels like the work never ends and there's never enough money. And so I would always ask her, well, I will always ask you if you'd say that to me, but I did ask her this question, which I'm going to share with you, is, what are the illusions of security that you're holding on to here? What is this illusion? Because you're playing small, right? Because you have that fear that if you let go of these things that is not good for you anymore, you might fall into the void where you don't know where next you're going and you don't know when your next paycheck will come, right? These are illusions of security. And like I said, this conversation isn't for everyone, because for her to get what I'm trying to say, she needed to be open. She had to be open to hearing me, right? And that is when you start to really walk with your emotions. That's how, in the space when we are working together, we will be, we always tap into emotions and energetics. We want to work with the raw energy instead of the mind, because the mind will freak out when we tell the mind, oh no, you're wrong. And security is taken out now. You don't have any more security, and you're going to go and do your entrepreneurial things, and the mind is going to freak out, right? So what we have to do, and this is what we do in my world, we want to come into the space where we start to train the mind on something else. Train the mind to find and follow you as the soul. You as the being, this limitless being that you truly are, this cosmic being that you truly are. So this is exactly why I created a space that I wanted it to be lush and transformative at the same time, because I feel like we don't talk enough about how, yes, it gets to be graceful and yes, it can be done in ease, but we have to be always doing the work. Always, 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 always. Your vision is unstoppable, and so it will keep evolving. Your soul purpose is the energy your presence emanates. So, in my world, my miracles, they're happening every day. And people often ask me, how do you stay in the vortex of stillness all the time? How do you stay in there? And my answer is always do the work. If you feel triggered, do the work. Tune in. Don't be afraid. Like I said yesterday, your inability to feel is going to kill you. Feeling it won't kill you, but your inability and your reluctance, your resistance to feeling is going to kill you. Okay? Everything I teach is my own experience. How I do these things, the art of emotional mastery and daily practice, it's all something I went through myself. And I truly, truly know, if you're listening to this and you're resonating with the work, I know there is a part deep inside of you who wants to rise, to really create a change, to make an impact. And that starts from leading yourself to own that power. And I can help you with that, but it also is about your choice, right? So it's really about, you know, can I finally detach myself from the identity that my mind has created? That I don't have to fix certain problems until, I don't have to fix certain problems and then get to this. Because when there seems to be no problem, the mind will continue to create something to fix. And so you will never be ready until you say you are ready. And so the question isn't to come from needing to make something happen. Like once you put like a need, you come from scarcity. You come to that space like, oh my God, like I need to make something happen. Otherwise, like, no, no. Power, authentic power comes from your desire. Because when you desire, it feels juicy. It feels cosmic. That's when you open yourself to merge and emerge in the unified field where all possibilities are available. So, the question I would invite you to really ask yourself is, if you really want to do this and get the support you desire to exponentially grow into your purpose, then can you see this as an investment and get behind the fact that you're going to do this and it is going to happen? Or are you seeing yourself as a no-no? That this is a gamble because you can't trust yourself to go through this and it's going to fail and it's not going to happen, right? So this is probably going to answer one of the questions as well that I got, which is the Priestess of Tea, which is my 2-month pilgrimage, coming with like a certification? There is no certification, because the way of tea is a way of living. It is a way of embodied living. If you are not living the way, you are not walking the way. That is as simple as that. You don't need a piece of paper to tell the world that you're walking that way, because your presence speaks for itself. And everything you see in your life will be reflected. And so I absolutely just wanted to, I don't know how I got there, but I guess that was one of the questions I got, and I wanted to really address that. because I truly believe that, the illusions of security and stress and like I'm not ready and things like that, they need to be really unveiled. They need to be really like you gotta unhook yourself from it. I honestly speak from the heart when I say I came from a long way of scarcity. Like I literally I was gonna share this story. I'm gonna just share it. I'm gonna share it. I I was overgiving in such a big way that I eventually became really resentful. And I wasn't resentful with the business because I truly am so in love. Like, I truly believe in this work so deeply. I know it will change lives. I know that a woman will be completely transformed. I've seen that happen. But I was also really coming from a place where I had this idea that this is going to create security for me, that I will be okay, that everything will be fine, and I will be able to take care of my family and all of that. But what was happening was that I found myself acting like nothing was enough. So I had to give and give and give. And I started to become resentful. I started to feel like, oh, I don't actually have friends I can talk to about this. And I started to feel resentful for my husband because he doesn't understand what I'm doing, this big mission I have. And I started to get resentful about the money as well, because then I'm like, well, there's never enough real money to do anything I really want to do because everything goes into paying the bills. And I was really in a space where I needed I needed to expand, and so I invested in big things. And then I started to feel miserable because I needed to see results fast, right? And then I just and then I was in the ceremony, and I remember again T coming to me and speaking to me, telling me, you have to talk to your ancestors. Your ancestors are here. Your ancestors are right here with you. And it was so profound because I started to feel the energy moving through me. I took my own medicine, I did all the work that I do with my clients, and I had this huge moment where I truly felt that actually I am still living in the matrix. I'm still living in the matrix where I need to see evidence before I believe who I was. And so, obviously, I'm very honest with all of you. When I see people around me, the clients, the friends, and whatever, they feel amazing walking with me when I hold their hands, when I'm supporting them. But then the minute I unplug from them, they feel, oh my God, oh, what do I do now? They are helpless. And this energy, I want to tell you, like, if you're a healer or a mystic, priestess, coach, this energy is not what you want, even in your clients, because it can so easily turn into resentment. It can so easily turn into resentment because they need you to be there all the time. This is the moment when I realized that I am an eternal being. I am an eternal being, so I need to approach my life as the creatrix. What do I want? Again, I tap back into that. I tap back into the subtle realm where I can sense and feel who I really am, the truth of who I am, the cosmic being. And I realize that desire, the want, feels so juicy, feels so good. And I got that download where I realized that I want my clients to come in because they felt that in them. They felt that desire. They felt that desire to dream again, percolate. That is more powerful than needing someone to help them. And so I walked out of there I thank my ancestors. And I started to feel, okay, if I can't see evidence right now of who I believe I am, it's okay. I can start to act like the one I believe I am. And so, how does a goddess feel? And I love this story, this beautiful goddess. You might have heard this story before. Circe, I hope I pronounced her name correctly, um, who was banished to an island, and she had her baby boy. She was pregnant, and having given birth, she had to save her baby boy by going deep into the oceans to meet the sea god. And that was one of the things she feared the most. And she had no idea if she could do it. Everyone told her she's gonna die doing it, but she went anyway because she felt that immensity of being a goddess who has a son she needs to save. And that is the immensity, that limitlessness that comes through, that goddess in us that comes through when we work from that bigger context. So it isn't about how we can serve our clients. It isn't about how we can have the next meal on the next table and all of that. It is about knowing that everything is happening for me now. I am the creatrix of my life. I am the center character of this story. So, how do I want to create? Because this is my story. Do I want to create like a goddess? Or do I want to create like a little kid whose sandcastle got blown away and I'm crying and I hate the sand. I hate the sand in my shoes and I just hate it, right? Everything happens for you. Okay? It is okay to feel scarcity. It is okay to feel fear. What we have to do is we have to do the work to learn to walk side by side with that. Because unless we tame the primal brain, the animal instinct to survive, we will just be doing that. We will just be surviving. We won't be actually living as the true cosmic being we are. That goddess in us needs to be honored. That's why we get resentful. That's why we bring that dark goddess out, because we haven't honored her. We haven't honored the goddess in us. So, beautiful, beautiful beings. I've spoken so deeply, like I haven't even checked the comments. I'm just looking at the comments now. So, Rachel, I'm just looking at the comments now. It's so challenging not to live in scarcity when you don't have a stable income, right? So I want to address this. I want to address this because I can tell you 100% like it is a choice first and foremost, and I'm holding so much for you right now because I know how you feel. I definitely do, but in my humble opinion, when we choose to do this work, at the same time, we have chosen to be in the quantum field, meaning we have chosen to extricate ourselves from the matrix and we are working in a place where we are collapsing timelines. So so you can't be straddling two worlds. You can't be saying, oh, I want to have stable income, but then I know I'm a healer and a mystic too. A healer and a mystic, they don't work in a place that has stable income. A healer and mystic works in a world where you already know that is happening. You already know that abundance is yours. So why would I worry and need stable income to follow my desires? And one of the things I wanted to share is that when we feel that coming up for us, like, the illusion of security and not enoughness are bounding us and not giving us space and room to grow into our limitlessness, that's when we need to start to really come into doing the work of addressing the subconscious dissonance. There is something that you have programmed in your body that you are not releasing, and it is running the show for you. You're not able to live from that bigger context of your soul purpose now because you are running by the survivorship complex of a mind attached to a body, instead of giving yourself that space to embody your cosmic magnificence. That's why you need to do the work. And again, I always say this, how many of you don't give yourself what you want? Is that you, Rachel? Do you give yourself what you want? How often do you actually give yourself what you truly want? And I emphasize want, not need, but something you want to have, right? Do you ask money for permission to live your life? Because I've done that. I've always tried to budget and ask money, like, can I go to Paris this weekend? Can I have that meal out tonight? We have to start to be so aware of how the mind is running the show for us, and then make the choice. I'm claiming the driver's seat now. I'm showing up again, because you've not been in that home. Imagine this, you've not been in the house of your soul for a long time. And because you haven't been there, the mind needed to drive the show. And the mind is so attached to the show now that you start to think that you're the mind. But the creatrix, the real creatrix here is you. You, the goddess you, born out of the universe, created from the Tao, the energy of source, the energy of the divine. So can we allow that purpose to unfold? Or are you going to live in this? And that is how people's dreams die, because they don't allow the cosmic magnificence to come through. And then they start to question why nothing works in their lives. So I would absolutely say that I understand where you're coming from, Rachel, my love. But when you make the choice to say, I'm a healer and mystic, you are also making the choice to approach your life as an eternal being, as the creatrix. So stable income is an illusion of security. It's saying that I don't believe it's going to come for me. I don't believe that abundance is me. So that will require some untangling from the, it will require untangling from the subconscious dissonance that's happening. And also obviously so many things we would need to work through, but for now, it is absolutely essential for you to begin to feel that you're not separate from the divine. You are the divine. And you need to start to believe, because you're hyper focused on one thing, that is energy, because money is energy. When you hyperly focus on that, you miss the point. You forget your soul purpose. And when you're working with clients and all of that, I am all for coming from a place of overflow. If you are approaching clients on the basis of, I need to make ends meet, can you imagine how that feels? Right? For them, they can feel that, the energy of scarcity. And so it is our work as healers and mystics and priestesses and goddesses, witches. It's our work to really harness that vortex of stillness. It is so important. We gotta hold that bigger context of a soul, because if we don't walk that talk, then what are we teaching to them? What are we contributing to them, right? And that's why I see so much in this industry where people are just not really authentic. They say all these things, but then when I'm talking to them, the energy is different. And that used to trigger me so much, but now I'm learning to distinguish what's not right for me, and learning that I need to show up before the answer shows up. We got to learn, and we have to lead. We lead ourselves so that we can lead others. Okay, my loves. Yeah, Rachel. The reason why we can is because we know what's authentic and we want to show up as authentic as we can. We just have to, right? And for us to be taken down just because we have scarcity and stable income to worry about, that's too much of a waste. It's too much of a waste. We don't want that. So sometimes, and actually not sometimes, all the time, whenever we ask the universe for a solution, it's presented. It's already here. And I often say this, and people don't like to hear that sometimes, but it's already here. But it's just that we don't like it because it's not convenient. And it requires us to have faith because we don't know what's on the other side. And oftentimes the truth is we don't know what's on the other side anyway for a lot of things. And for me, it was really so much of the investments I've made, like I didn't make them because I had the money sitting around and waiting for me to make the investment. I made them because I wanted that version of me to show up, and I knew that that was going to take me there. And that is it. That is it. So when I speak to you and I stir something up, and the fact that you have come across this today, and the fact that you've come across and you've signed up, you've already shown up. You've already shown up for yourself. You know, you could be Netflixing, you could be out like smoking a joint, whatever you do, but you're here. And that is showing up. That is really amazing. It really is. So, and also just thanking your cat for not puking on your laptop as well, because I know things like that happen, right? Like, I can't access because my cat puked on my laptop. Wow, we've heard all of that. So I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you so much for really being here and listening and tuning in and opening your mind up to this. And hopefully, some of your circuits were blown apart. Again, the work that we do here is really about how can we unclench ourselves from the subconscious constrictions that are holding us back. And these things can be done in a really lush and transformative way. And I'm going to dive into a little bit about what I offer and what I do. So if this is not something you want to listen to, thank you so much for being here. You can absolutely just pop off if you want to. I'm going to just share a little bit about the work. And if you're interested, how to join, how to sign up, and things like that. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, so as some of you have already seen, I'm really excited to talk about this. First and foremost, I've got Priestess of Tea coming up. It is a 2-month pilgrimage. It is all about how to, you will learn in your own way, but I will be walking through this with you on how to commune with tea as a spirit and as a shamanic medicine. In a lot of ways, tea has been forgotten through times, but we are going to go back to a time when tea was actually hailed as the Empress of Herbs, and how she was used in medicine, in Taoist medicine in particular. And you know, it's a beautiful alternative medicine for so many. But more than that, I want this to be a way for you to start to hold ceremonies in a beautiful way that can land in anyone's sacred space as a daily practice. That is my true hope, because really we need something to hold us in our bigger context, right? So this is the thing that I personally practice, and this is the thing that I personally do with all of my private clients as well. And for anyone who's already doing things with me, Priestess of Tea is truly about embodying the way of tea. It's really about diving deep into the language of tea. Yes, you are going to have spectacular opportunities to try really rare and fine, expensive teas, because I only specifically work with very bioenergetically aligned tea, and we call them living tea. So these are the things that you will be working with in Priestess of Tea, and it's just so amazing. And so like it's just astounding. It was channeled through me when I was on the sacred land. And the one thing that I heard was that when you pass, this will live on. And this is the one thing I just wanted this to happen. And so right now, until 10 p.m. UK time, it's going for £2,999. And if you take it up and you want a payment plan, there is also a payment plan available. The link is right in the description box. And then after that, the price will go back up to £3,333. Okay, so if you want to jump in, jump in. There are only 10 spots available. And also, I announced yesterday a surprise offer, and it is for anyone who's here for the experience. If you are curious and you're like, I don't know if it's for me, I've opened up one-to-one tea ceremonies that are bespoke to you, and they're going for £222 only right now. Usually they are done at £555 to £888, depending on what is bespoke. But I really wanted to give this opportunity to you to just commune with her and see what comes up for you. And if you do decide to do that, and then you are like, oh my God, I need to do Priestess of Tea, you can just take that £222 off the Priestess of Tea price and just pay the balance. That's it. So this is an incredible offer. I really want to do this. Tea is always so giving and generous, and it's very aligned with her energy. So this is the gift that I hope that you would take up if it's calling to you, and trust yourself and go and make it happen. Next is Siren Goddess. Siren Goddess is like my flagship brand. It is everything about living on purpose in your authentic power. It is about really uncovering your soul purpose and really coming to a place where you remember your wholeness. You remember that you are the creatrix of your life, and creating from that vortex of stillness. So the underpinning thing we do in there obviously is absolutely we work with tea, but more than that, we do bioenergetic healing, we do Taoist healing modalities, so that you can learn to work with the raw energy of who you are, instead of, you know, whatever they call it, mindset, blah blah blah, therapy or whatever it is. We actually work on the basis of your energy. And what I do with my clients is sometimes like I don't even know how things start to transform, but because it takes place in such a liminal space, such a cosmic energy happens, that things shift really quickly. I have this beautiful client who was, you know, deeply in a place of fearful of a body, fearful of the pain that the body would need to go through. And she's doing so amazing in my container right now. She's really allowing the cosmic energy to really like spice her up, and the transformation is already happening. She's committing to herself. She's owning her goddess power. She's not apologizing for it. It's just amazing. And I really want this for everyone, and it really is my desire that women actually can feel me when when I'm talking about this, from a place where it's like kind of like moving a little particle in you, where it's like I I remember I can dream. I remember I'm a goddess. I remember, and feeling my emotions is not a bad thing. I need to learn how to, I want to learn how to hold myself in a bigger space. I want to learn how I can create impact in a way that I can stay the course. It's like what I spoke about, how to stay the course so that you can manifest everything you desire. This will be the place for you to land. And for that, it is an application only process, so you can apply for a heart-to-heart chat with me, see if it aligns. And right now I run a 3-month immersion and also a 6-month immersion, and we can always talk about private mentorship, but the starting price will be £5,997. The price will be going up because I'm feeling like it's going to be immensely important for me to include more things, and my downloads are getting more and more like leveling up. And so right now the price is at £5,997. If you want to do payment plans, it's available as well. So DM me, let's have a chat. We can make it happen for you. Okay. So again, thank you so much for all of your beautiful, beautiful presents. I think I'll just end with, again, just really, really letting you know that the things that I talk about, the art of emotional mastery, of embodying your vortex of stillness, it is yours. It will be yours to walk on the way with me by your side. So, and I want you to know, because all of these come from my own experience, as I up level, so will you. And I know this is not for everyone, but for those who go to the finishing line with me, I hold the energy with you to build up your own vortex of stillness. Okay. This is really, the question is really, do you really want to do this and get the support you desire to exponentially grow into your purpose? It is a want, is a desire, not something I want you to feel like you desperately need it. So payment plans are available so that it is more accessible. And first and foremost, you got to choose yourself. You got to choose yourself, choose to lead yourself, choose yourself, because you have to start to have faith that you are going to do this and it is going to happen, right? If you are a cosmic being, you know that. So choose yourself. And then if you want to do this, message me, click on the link, whatever that feels good for you. Okay. I never do anything that's pushy. So you gotta trust yourself to go through this and make it happen. You are not a gamble. Investment means you actually grow. By hook or crook, you actually grow into your purpose. And you have to choose yourself first. You gotta choose. Okay? All right. So, beautiful ones. I am going to finish off here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Rachel, I just read your message. I don't let tuxedo near my laptop. All right. All right, beautiful ones. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.